Hello, my name is Zach Frazier. Welcome to our first episode of the Bison Breakdown. I'm here with Addie Reese on the outside and Josie Sparks. Addie plays second base for the softball team and Josie plays third and catcher. And really all this is going to be is just kind of getting to know our softball team and getting to know Josie and Addie a little bit and try to highlight this softball team and what's a really fun, energetic team to be around. So guys, our first question, who is the best dressed teammate on your team? Whose style is the best on your team? Now, you may hurt some feelings here, but Addie, okay. Okay, so Addie, so you can't pick yourself. Who's second? Who's second?
We all dress like boys.
You all dress like boys?
We're always like in sweatpants or sweatshirt. Like we don't dress up very often. Who would be it? Maybe Shy Sandoval.
Okay. So speaking of Cheyenne Sandoval, she plays shortstop. Then I have another question for you. Who creates the best TikTok content on your team?
Shy and Mia.
Or I would say Zoe and
There's a lot of choices.
Yeah.
You have a very active team on TikTok. So, okay, that's fair. You guys are not really picking sides. I was expecting some more definite answers here, but that's okay. All right, fine. Let's go to the next question. Who is the funniest teammate on your guys' team, if you had to guess?
Am I out of the equation?
No, you can say yourself. If that's the right answer, absolutely.
I would say maybe
Zoe.
Zoe makes me
Zoe.
laugh. Yeah.
So Zoe and Josie, those are the two acceptable answers here? Because I haven't heard Addie say Josie, I just heard Josie say Josie. So
I'd probably say Zoe.
Zoe.
Or
Still haven't heard Josie.
I don't know. I'm trying to think like in my locker room who I stand by.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Like trying to remember. But yeah, probably Zoe.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so I'll start with Addie and then we'll go to Josie next. What is your favorite thing about this Bison softball team as assembled this year? What is your favorite thing about your team?
Family. I've come from two other schools. I'm a transfer from two other schools, and so I've had a lot of like different personalities. I've seen a lot, and it's just really cool to come here and like I was accepted immediately. It didn't matter like where I came from, who I was, and I know this was like where God placed me for a purpose. So it's just really awesome to be here. The coaches respect me, my teammates respect me, and I just love it here, and I love them.
Awesome. Josie?
I would say the culture. The difference between this year and last year is that we're so much more supportive of each other. We're very selfless and not selfish. We want each other to succeed and do the best that we can do. And like all around, we're a close-knit group, not just on the softball field, but like also in like school and everyday life.
And I think that shows, as someone who's watched a lot of your guys' game this year, it seems like no matter who's at the plate or who, a pinch hitter comes in, whatever, whoever it is, it seems like that third base dugout is always alive for whoever's making the play. If it's, Cheyenne at short who starts almost every game, or if it's maybe Reagan Ford who's kind of been in and out of lineup a couple times, there's always that support for your guys' team. And I think that's been kind of the difference for you guys, it seems like, coming down the stretch. And so the head of that is Coach Maples. So what makes Coach Maples different from other coaches you've played for in the past? I know it's kind of a loaded question, but I'll start with Josie and then we'll go to Addie.
Coach Maples cares for us as individuals. It's not just about how good you are, if you're going to put up the stats that we need or score runs we need. It's about who you are individually. So like with my story, she like took that head on and made sure that everything was made possible, not just to like get me here, but to also like show my family that she actually cares. And plus she's just a dog.
That always helps.
Yeah, she just cares about us. Like, I've had so many coaches like care a lot more about stats instead of who you are, and I think that's what helped me become like the player that I am right now and becoming and can become is because of the coaches and like the respect they have for me, the comfortability that I have here, and just that she wants us to be like women and like love ourselves and love others, and I just haven't really had that before, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it shows when you see how you guys interact with Coach Maples from a distance. It definitely shows. And so for me, my freshman year, that's 4 years ago, so that's a long time, but I had this moment my freshman year, my first day of football practice, where I just got I couldn't block anybody. It was awful. And so for me, that was kind of like my welcome to college football moment. Like, what was that moment for you guys where you're like, holy cow, this is a different level than what I played before?
So I'm a JUCO transfer,
Okay.
and I played for Amber Forest, and we were 10-0 on like the year in the season, and we got beat by like the worst team in the nation. And the moment I realized, oh, I'm in college now, is we ran 48 full suicides for the 40 errors we made, and it was probably the worst day of my life. That's when I realized I was in college.
Yeah, that'll do it. 48 suicides, that'll do it.
Yeah. Probably similar. It was my freshman year, and it was like the first week, and we sat down, and she was like, "These are the do's and don'ts of what you do," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm like this is definitely like I'm being more held accountable than I ever have before," and I was like, yeah, and then we get into practice, and she just was at Wichita State, and it was funny because we get in practice, and I was like, these girls are good. Like, you realize you are like everyone's good, not just you.
Yeah, that's that's funny. Those first that first punishment you get in college it hits completely different. Like that first conditioning punishment is awful.
We were terrified to lose that.
It worked.
4-4
It
all
worked.
year.
Yeah, so it did work. So I think there's this. I have a definition of athleticism, right? It is who. It's the how you translate your athletic skill set across multiple different situations and things. So Josie, especially someone who, for you started your career at least on Bison Hill as almost a full-time catcher. And you've made the transition to third sometimes in the second half of doubleheaders. You go back behind the plate. What has been the biggest transition for you going from catcher to third base?
Well, I played third and catcher my whole life, but Coach Sam told me I was going to be on third a little bit more this year. It's kind of, I got to do what's best for my team. Like, even though sometimes I'd rather be behind the plate, I know that I have to be over there in order to do what's best for my teammates and stuff. And yeah.
So both of you guys being leaders on your team, being kind of the older group on your team, what is your message to these younger girls as they're coming in and maybe not necessarily getting the reps they feel like they deserve, or maybe not getting to play as much as they want, but how are you guys what is your message to those younger girls as being people who've come from JUCO and did your time before you got to play at the level you're playing at now? What is your message to those girls?
Just that hard work does pay off. There were times, especially as I've gotten older, that I was like, I feel like I'm coming in, I'm working hard, and it's just not paying off. But in all honesty, when you take a step back and you look and you're like, you put that effort in, and it will pay off eventually. And just be there for your teammates. Honestly, the best thing you can do is learn from this game and learn from the people who are playing. And sometimes that's really hard from the sideline, but when you see that and you start to understand the game, you become a better player and you become a better teammate, and it just makes the game so much more fun.
My thing was to work really hard, because my freshman year I was strictly a DP until we got into nationals, but I DP'd my whole year. So I kind of looked up to our older catcher because she was playing, and so for the younger classmen, I would probably encourage them to don't be scared to ask that person for help, and don't be scared to push their limits and ask for extra reps, and just work hard and be who you are, and it'll pay off.
So the rest of the season, what is, for you guys, we'll try to come up with two each. What are the two major things you guys are looking for in terms of what do you need to improve, or what are the goals for the rest of the season as you kind of look in the final stretch here, trying to make the tournament?
Probably one would definitely be staying consistent. Sometimes we get in our heads, or sometimes we get down, especially early in games. And we just need to work on being consistent in practice and taking what we do in practice to games. And then probably just working hard and focusing. Sometimes it's easy to mix up goofing off and have between having fun. And I think just as this program continues to grow, learning that focusing all the time brings hard work and brings productivity.
I would say we have to keep our mentality because there's games we'll come out like straight bulldogs, like we're going at them, we're going to do whatever we can to win this game. And then there's some games we're just there and we're like, oh, well, they said this team isn't very good, so we can kind of just stay back and do whatever. So I think that we need to keep our mentality going through the rest of the season of being bulldogs. And then probably, I would say, I don't know what to say.
Maybe just getting better 1% like every day. Instead of like, sometimes it's easy to go through the motions. And so just making sure that each and every day you bring something new or you work on something that will make you a better person, teammate, player for that next day.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I think you're absolutely right. It seems like you guys have been on, even the games that you've lost this year, it's been like just one little thing it's just putting that complete game together, and it feels like you guys are right on the cusp of doing that. All right, guys, with that being said, that's it for episode 1 of the Bison Breakdown here with the softball team. Tune in next week for our next episode.